Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 168 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and where I get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. I'm filming a drop early again, and today is Friday, June the 30th, 2023. And I'll get the editing done later today, and I have a bunch of things going on tomorrow, so I wouldn't have had time to get it filmed on my regular Saturday. So I will film today, edit and upload so it goes live sometime tomorrow late morning. And yeah, I just have a bunch of things going on tomorrow, and I'm not gonna have time to sit down and film a proper episode. So June, the last day of June. 2023 is half gone. How? Anyway, this episode is going to be socks galore. Finished socks, started socks, planned socks, socks. I love knitting socks. And a teeny little not sock knitting bit, but I mean tiny. So anyway, as I've hinted, I have 2 pair of socks that I finished this past week. I'm so excited. First pair are the Super Sock World Championship socks for lap 1. These are the low octane pair, and these are Repeat After Me by Erica Deniet. And they're done. I think I finished these on Tuesday? Earlier this week. Anyway, so they're finished, and I submitted them for points for my team in the Super Sock World Championship, and they were approved, and I got a handful of points to add to my team's score. So I did opt to do them both socks the same. Do I have, sorry for the sprinkling. There's one tag. Oops, there's the other one. I'm making all kinds of noises. So for these I used Valley Yarns Huntington, and I used 2 colorways. The darker is blue, and the lighter color is Arctic. Ooh, that really sucked the light out of the room. Anyway, so I had thought of doing them fraternal, but I saw someone posted pictures showing how they did theirs fraternal, where they swapped the colors from the first to the second sock. And the only part where you saw the difference was the cuff, the little bit of a heel, and the toe. Everything else looked very much the same. So these were knit using 2.25 millimeter needles, or US 1. I Chow the red lace. I did them one at a time, magic loop, and this is the mosaic knitting technique. I like them. A little longer than I normally like the leg on my sock, but that's life. So, Super Sock World Championship, lap number 1, socks are done. Now, I've got to free up my sock blockers so I can show you my second finished object, second pair of socks that are finished. So pop those over here. And my second ones that I finished are my June sort of shorty socks. So these socks are made using yarn from my 12-day advent calendar from Orlando Fiber Arts. And this was color number 6 or box number 6. And if you've been watching for any length of time, particularly this year, you know that instead of opening these over the 12 days of Christmas last winter, I opted to do them one a month throughout the year. So each of the 12 days became one of the 12 months. And these are my June socks. And I love this color. Who am I kidding? I have loved all of the colors so far. So these are my 2 at a time, toe up, sort of shorty socks. And I use a bare yarn for the toes, the heel, and just a little pop of color at the top just to finish her off when I'm done. So each of the skeins of yarn in this 12-day advent calendar are 50-gram skeins. So this uses up absolutely everything except for a few inches that are from the tails being woven in. So 2 at a time, toe up on 2.25 millimeter. Sorry, I had a brain freeze there. It's got that little loading message that you see when your computer or your internet is slow. The brain just did that. Anyway, so 2.25 millimeter needles or US 1. The ChowGoo red lace, I forget how long the cable is. It's long, probably I think it might be 40 inches. I think it's 40 inches. And start at the toe, join in, once the increases on the toe are done, I join in my color. I do 55 rounds for my foot length, 55 rounds before I begin the gusset increasing for the ankle. Then I switch over and use the bare yarn, do a heel turn and a slip stitch heel flap. And then I switch back to the main color, do 25 rounds on the leg, and then switch to a 2x2 ribbing until I'm completely out of yarn. And I typically take my skein of yarn, do it into a cake, and I draw from the inside and the outside of the cake of yarn. And I find it doesn't tangle for me if I'm just working on it at home, because I'll flip the yarn back and forth for where the yarn is coming from. So every time I turn or switch from sock 1 to sock 2, I switch the skein of yarn. I should do a quick little tutorial type video and just show you how I do that so that I prevent my cake of yarn from the 2 strands coming out from getting tangled when I'm working on it at home. It does get tangled if I'm working on it and just pulling both ends out of a project bag. But I can live with that because I don't find it a big deal to untwist the 2 ends of the cake. So they're done. And I absolutely love this color. It's gorgeous light blue with all these little specks and flecks of this bright green, little whitish spots, little pinky purple spots. There's the odd little orange fleck here and there. But whoa, that color went wonky. That seems real orange. I think we got the color back. So my June toe up sort of shorty socks are done. So it's sock pair number 6 in my year of sort of shorty socks from my advent calendar. I love them. I love them. So those are my whips, or my former whips that I finished up this week. My June socks, I just finished them up a couple days ago. Hang on, I think the hubby's phoning. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. It was the hubby phoning. So, we're heading out for lunch in a short bit, so I'm gonna talk quicker. I'm not gonna dawdle and yak as long. So since I finished those other 2 pair of socks, I needed another pair of socks cast on, obviously. So I wanted to cast on and start knitting with one of the Felice colors that I showed you guys a week or 2 ago. So someone had suggested putting each of the skeins of yarn in a brown paper bag and then randomly choosing one. Perfect idea. Perfect idea. So I put them all in bags and I got the hubby to pick one. And there are 2 skeins. Remember I had mentioned that 2 are my favorite, the blues and the pinks. Those 2 are my favorite of the colors. So hubby picked the blue one. Perfect. So this is Poseidon. And I've got to start on them, and I'm probably not going to do, I'm going to try not to do too much on this because I want to save it for mostly for airport and airplane knitting starting on Monday. So here's what I have so far. And these are going to be fraternal twins. They are going to be a pair, but they will not look the same. And I don't care. I'm honestly not fussy about if my socks match perfectly. So what I've done is, as you can see, I took the ball of yarn, did it up into a cake, and I'm pulling from the middle and the outside, the center and the outside. So what will happen is my colors will go in the opposite direction. And you can see that right here. And I also just started it where the yarn was. I didn't worry about starting at the beginning of a new color. So my first color is only a couple rounds, and I'm fine with that. So I'm using for the toes, the heels, and the little pop of color at the top is stroll fingering in black. So it's just the plain black. The other part is Felice in the colorway, it should say on there, Poseidon. So those are the colors I'm using for my Felice #1 pair toe-up sort of shorty socks. So same thing, I will do 55 rounds, start the increasing for the gusset, and then do the heel turn and the heel flap in black, and then continue going around for another 25 rounds on the leg. And after 25 rounds I will switch to a 2x2 ribbing until I'm completely out of the yarn. And at that point I will add a couple rounds, 2 or 3 rounds of black, just as a pop of color and just to finish it off so I have something there to bind off with. So that's my new cast on, my pair of sort of shorty socks in Felice. And I'm planning on just doing one pair of socks, sort of shorty socks, with one 50-gram skein of yarn of the Felice. And I have 7 more bags, 7 more colors to go. Then I also need to make sure that I have enough materials for knitting when I travel home to my mom's. I am leaving, we are going to go up to the town where the airport is. My flight leaves Monday morning at 6:01 in the blessed morning. So we are going to go up Sunday afternoon. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive from our place to the airport. We don't want to do the drive in the middle of the night, so we are going to get a hotel room. We'll all go to the airport. We're staying at the hotel right at the airport. And we'll go from the hotel, I'll stagger across to the airport at like 4:30 in the morning or thereabouts, and fly out. So I'm planning on, I'm going to try to get a little bit of footage of me knitting in multiple airports, because I will be in a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different airports between my flight to Manitoba and back from Manitoba. So I will be posting, I'll try to do that. I won't be able to do that from my mom's place, but I'll try to get a little bit of footage at each of the airports while I'm knitting there. And maybe some airplane knitting as well. So I need to make sure I have enough materials to do some knitting while I'm home. So last year I took enough yarn to knit 2 pair of socks and I ran out of knitting. This year I'm going to take enough material to knit 3 pair of socks, and I'm also going to be working on knitting a scarf for my mom's friend Mary. She started working on that many years ago, decided knitting was not for her, and it's just been sitting there unknit for probably about 10 years. So Mom is going to get that for me, and I'm going to finish knitting that scarf for Mary. I'll bring some pictures home with me, and I'll show you some pictures of that once I'm back in 2.5 weeks. So I need enough yarn to knit 3 pair of socks. So I have my Felici socks, which by the time I get on the airplane are probably going to be almost half done. They might actually even be half done or a bit more. So my next pair of socks, this is what all this raveling is. Remember a while back I bought this bag with this set with, it was 6 skeins of 50-gram skeins of yarn by Hue Loco. So I showed that to the hubby this morning and asked him which of those yarns should I make the pair of socks with first. So you pick one, I will knit it. He chose this one. So it's by Hue Loco, and the colorway is Heat Wave. So I'm going to get that caked up before we leave on Sunday afternoon. I'm going to do it with, I think, white toes, heels, and a little pop of color on the cuff. I'm 95% sure I'll do it in white. I might do it in black. How does it look with black? I think it'll look fantastic with either one. It'll look good with black, but I also think it'll look good with the white. I think I like the white a bit better. Anyway, this will be one of the pair of socks that I will cast on. This will be the 3rd pair. I will finish the Felici pair first, because I'm only going to take 1 skein of yarn, or 1 set of needles up there with me. So I'll finish the Felici socks first. Then the next pair will be my July sort of shorty socks, which will come from my 12-day advent calendar. And then the 3rd pair, if needed, will be this pair, Heat Wave by Hue Loco. So there's that one. And since this is going to be posted on the 1st, I'm going to do a quick little unboxing for you. This is my 12 days of yarn advent calendar for last year. And let's open the July yarn. So this is day 7 of, whoops, don't drop this, Karen. So this is day 7. So once my Felici socks are done, I'm going to cast on this pair when I'm up in Manitoba. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. That's highlighter marker green. Oh, I love it. I better be careful, my mother might try to steal these. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh, I love it. So it's a 50-gram skein of yarn. This, as soon as I'm done the Felici socks, I will be casting on this. I'll do the white, the bare toes, heels, and the pop of color, and the rest of the sock will be this semi-solid tonal highlighter green color. Oh, it's gorgeous. This is so bright. I love it. I love this. So those will be my 3 pair of sort of shorty socks that I will be working on while I'm gone to Manitoba, while I'm stuck in airports, traveling to and fro, while I'm on multiple airplanes. This will be what I'll be knitting on. I'm gonna say I'll finish the Felici socks first, then I will cast on my July toe-up sort of shorty socks, so the green ones, and then if I still need more sock knitting, I will have the Hue Loco pair of socks that I can cast on. So I will get those 2 skeins of yarn, I will get them caked up later today or tomorrow and get them packed and ready to go. The only other thing I worked on a tiny bit this week was my Penguono sweater. I was able to get started on the sleeve yesterday and did about 6 or 8 rounds or rows, and that's all I've managed to get done. So it wasn't enough to dig everything out and show you because it's not an awful lot to look at. Once I'm back from my travels, I want to get going on that and get that finished. Now that I've got the hang of what's going on with the sleeve, it won't be a huge project to finish it. So I would love to get that one done in July. So I am planning on filming a couple things for you to show you while I'm away. So I want to get 2 videos of some sort that I can post and schedule or have scheduled to post on the 2 Saturdays I'll miss while I'm traveling. So I think I'm hoping I'm going to be able to go through all of my stash before I leave and do a video of that, and then also do a second video with some of the things that I want to make with the stash that I have sitting there. And kind of map out what I'm hoping to work on for most of the rest of the year. So hubby's home, it's time to head out for lunch now, and I will get the editing done on this once we're back home. I need to get a new pair of running shoes today, so we're going to go out to some outlet malls not too far from us, go out for lunch first, then the outlet malls, and then probably poke around a few other places, and then get back home and get some other knitting done. So aside from that, I should get going. I will see you guys again in like about 3 weeks. You will see a picture of a scarf that I knit, and hopefully at least 2, maybe 3 pair of finished socks. We shall see. Alrighty, on that note, I shall go. Take care, and I will see you guys when I'm back from my little vacation. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.